All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. So today I figured it was necessary to make this video because as Super Kami Guru Alucard, the artist, I'm currently facing a pretty terrible problem. A problem that is outside of my control that was caused by a certain employer of Tunecore basically targeting me because he didn't like that I said his responses were like an AI robot, which they were. He's basically complaining about all this stuff that I need to change and, not explaining it accurately, right? So I did curse him out a bit because it's like if you're going to do this kind of job, at least explain properly to the artist how to do things right. That is their job. They're the customer support. And if they're not run by AI robots, which they honestly sound like they are based on their generic, vague responses, then it's their job to properly explain to me as the client and the customer, because we pay them to release our music, that this is how it has to be to release properly and not get into any issues. So, what happened was I was getting ready to release Hood Tales from the Shadow Realm. Now, this is an album I will give to any fans who are willing to go on Twitter, message Tunecore, and tell them that they need to fire people like Colton who are not good at dealing with people, who threaten people like myself, who are very sensitive artists, and cause panic attacks that leave them hospitalized or in bed all day, like this guy did. So, what happened was this, okay? There was a song that is called I'm the Best Around on this album. Now, it's not a cover of You're the Best Around from The Karate Kid by Joe Esposito. It is an original song. I wrote my own lyrics, I rapped on it, I referenced some of the original lyrics, which is why I credited the two original writers of the song as co writers, because yes, they did give me the idea. Seems fair to credit them. Is it their original song? No. This guy Colton called it a cover. So, flat out dismissing my lyrics, my attempt to do my own song, and called it a cover. Which, right off the bat, people, I hope you can see what I'm getting at here with this whole AI thing. A computer probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. They're not intellectual the way a human is. A human is analytical, they can examine a cube from all sides. An AI computer is only looking at the cube from one side. To them, they could pick up that, yes, I sampled it. Yes, it's similar, but it's not the same song. Any human being, real human being, would be able to notice that it's not a cover, that the lyrics are vastly different. And there is saxophone and vibraphone solos on I'm the Best Around that are not on You're the Best Around. So you see what I'm saying? Not a cover. So I said, why are you giving me this grief? And I did curse him out a bit. Like, yeah, because it's like he woke me up when I was having trouble sleeping to complain about this and then doesn't explain what the problem is and starts calling it a cover, discrediting all my efforts to do my own original song as a response to that song. So, yeah, I was offended. What artist wouldn't be? You're literally sitting there saying, I stole this man's lyrics when I didn't. I referenced some of them, but if you listen to the lyrics, even in the chorus that I'm singing, they're vastly different than the original version. So, yeah, I was offended. I cursed the guy out because he's saying I jacked somebody else's words. Now, as an artist, I always write my own lyrics. Now, there is a time or two, actually three that I can think of where I did cover songs. Now, here's the thing. I admit to covering those songs. I covered Maria Takeuchi, I covered Billie Holiday, and I covered They Might Be Giants. I love those songs that much that I just wanted to do my own spin on them. Do I think my songs are better than the original? No. If those artists asked me not to perform my covers of their songs, would I? 100%. Because I love them, I respect them. I think their versions are better anyway. But I love them enough as artists and were influenced by the song that, yes, for experimentation and finding myself as an artist, I did cover a few songs just to see what works well with me as a cover. Now, this song was not a cover, though. That's the whole point. I didn't cover it. If they said you covered Billie Holiday, you covered Maria Takeuchi, you covered They Might Be Giants, 100%, yeah, I did. Guilty. If I'm guilty of that, throw the cups on me. Did I cover You're the Best Around? No. I responded to it with I'm the best around, not you're the best around. So it is not a cover. I had to clarify to that. Of course, he didn't like that I corrected him on the proper terminology. And then he starts busting my chops about how, yeah, it uses a sample and I can't do it. Okay. And here's the thing, this is where the waters get murky. When he pointed out that, yeah, it uses a sample that I don't have rights to, and I would need Joe Esposito's permission, which nobody could get this guy's permission because this guy has vanished off the face of the earth. This guy was never even a mainstream artist. He worked with the Italian producer Giorgio Moroder for his first three albums. In fact, they might be his only solo albums. He is compilated for soundtracks and stuff, but as far as like his own mainstream albums, he never had such a thing. They were released mostly in Europe, and some of them are out of print. This guy has vanished off the face of the earth. Trying to find this guy to get his permission is impossible. So if they're really saying because of the sample, I can't release it because I don't have his permission, I said, fine. I'll replace it with an outro that explains why this song got cut from the album to my fans, and we'll release it that way. So I was willing to compromise. You see what I'm saying? I put an outro that explained everything. Yeah, I was mad. Yeah, I talked about some things regarding this situation, but I replace it. And then here comes this Colton guy saying, oh, you can't use that outro. Replace the old song. We'll figure out a way to make it work. I was confused by this. Can you understand where I'm coming from? Like, people, if you're watching this, you see what I'm saying? He's saying, I can't use it because of that sample without permission. Then he's saying, no, you can't use the intro, even though a cappella, no samples, tied the album together, explained everything. By their rules, the outro was perfectly fine. I even recorded a less intense outro if they thought the harsh language was too much for the original outro. Because the original outro I was going to call Dick Bags and be talking about how Tunecore were dick bags with me and wouldn't allow me to release the album the way I wanted to or the song. That's what it was about. I had to explain to the audience it was supposed to be there. That was the way the album was constructed. Now, if they really had a problem with that, they could have said, look, we don't like the coarse language you're talking about us in the outro. Can you replace it with another outro that is less vulgar? And I had one. I would have perfectly been willing to accommodate them. That's what I want you people to understand. They didn't play fair with me. This Colton guy complains about the outro, says can't use it, doesn't say why. First of all, didn't say why. Just said, yeah, you can't use it. It doesn't meet our format. And that's bogus because no samples, was over 30 seconds, and was in the proper format. Technically, unless you're Tunecore and you don't like that somebody's talking about you like that, there really wasn't a reason for not putting the outro. It didn't break any of their rules. It didn't violate. I could understand why they might not have liked it because it said the truth about how, they were screwing me over with this album, which was true. Artists are supposed to keep it real. That's all I was doing with that outro. Now, if they said, we don't like it because you're insulting us, can you replace it with a different outro? I have a different outro, which I will play for everybody, that I would have perfectly been willing to use in its place too, mind you, if they had a problem with the language I used in the outro. Okay, I don't know why it's not playing. Here we go.
There are forces out there that want to control our creativity as artists. They try to restrict us because we are true. We are real to ourselves. We express our emotions to reflect the nature of the world that we all inhabit. We are the voice of every generation. We provide the voices for every unique individual that is on this planet. Now, this album did not turn out the way I intended it to, but perhaps by speaking these profound words of wisdom, the world will understand exactly why things have to be the way that they are.
As you can see, nothing bad at all. I was very vague about it, but I was still saying the same thing. So if Dick Bags of an outro was too hardcore, could have replaced it with that. And as you could see, perfectly fine. He didn't say replace it with a less vulgar outro. He said, no, put the original track back. This Colton guy, right? Didn't make any sense to me. If he's saying I can't use it without permission of the sample and I can't get permission, why is he telling me to do it? They're the people in charge. So I blindly and I regrettably did what this guy asked. Put the original track, I'm the best around, back in place of this Dick Bags outro or the other outro. And then what does he do? He flags the release to permanently be taken down and then says, I can never release any of the songs from this album on any other albums. I can't put them on different albums. I can't release them in different ways. So he's making the entire album get scrapped because he's an asshole that just didn't want to fucking let me do things my way. Now, you could sit there and say, okay, Chris, you did say some vulgar stuff to him. Okay, yeah. Considering they sound like AI robots, and they do, I'll put it this way. When they respond to you in emails, it sounds like an AI system could have sent those responses. There is no human traits that make it sound like you're talking to a real person. They do sound like a bunch of robots. So if I curse them out for sounding so robotic and being vague and not explaining shit properly, that whose fault is that? That's their fault. I'm calling the kettle black. The kettle is black. I'm calling it black. Okay? What am I supposed to say? The kettle's white and it's black? No, that's absurd. So you see what I mean? This Colton guy set me up and sabotaged me to screw my entire album over to make me scrap every song. Can you understand how frustrating that is as an artist? I'll put it this way. I was in the hospital and I laid in bed for hours yesterday because I was not well. My anxiety was through the roof. I was suffering. And you know why? Because this Colton guy unfairly sabotaged me because he didn't like that I said he was vague, confusing as shit, and he sounded like some fucking AI robot, which he did. He was so rude, he targeted me, screwed my album over just to be an asshole, because let's fucking be real. Why else would he do it? He didn't like that I told him he should sound more like a human being instead of a fucking robotic AI system, which they should. Notice, I'm not mentioning any other people from Tunecore. Do you notice that? I'm only mentioning Colton because Colton is the one who had this problem with me and wanted to target me and sabotage me because I called him out for being shitty at his job. And that's exactly what I did. That's why he don't like me. That's why he targeted me. And you want to know the icing on the cake? He threatened me. He threatened me that I cannot release any more albums, that he's going to talk to the people at Tunecore and they're going to close my account and they're going to get rid of all my albums that I release, even though I pay them every year for unlimited releases. And I've been a good client and a good customer, constantly putting out albums, always paying them on time since 2019. So how is that fair to me? And you notice I'm pointing the finger completely at Colton. because nobody else had any hand in it. This was him sabotaging me because he didn't like that I told him he was a robot and he should learn his music terminology a little more accurately. Because it's true. You can't say a cover is like, you can't say a response song is exactly a cover. It it's a response song because the lyrics are different. They are in response to the original song. Now, if he said it was a response song, 100% I would agree. If he said you can't use that sample without permission, okay, fine. No fault there. He said it was a cover, which was insulting to an artist that worked that hard on a song like that. So, do you understand why that offended me? That upset me to the point I cursed him out because he's discrediting all my efforts. So, yeah, I did curse him out for it. He kind of deserved it. First of all, learn your music terminology more accurately. One, because a cover is not a response, and a response is not a cover. Common sense, really. But yeah, so this Colton guy targeted me, screwed the album, and now they're threatening to get rid of all my releases and not let me release any more albums. And they ruined a perfectly good album that I now have 12 tracks I can never officially release because Colton is a spiteful dickbag jerk. So you know what, people? You've heard my story. This is my testimony. I'm saying it straight up, as honest and full to the point as I can. This Colton guy targeted me. And he targeted me unfairly. He gave me a freaking panic attack that left me in bed. And he threatened me that I can't release any more albums. That's not his decision. I pay Tunecore for unlimited releases. I've been a good customer. And you know what? Here's the thing. TuneCore doesn't have phone numbers that you could call and talk to somebody higher up, because if you did, I would love to talk to the boss. I would love to explain this calmly and professionally that, yeah, this guy working for you, he's not really good at his job. He lacks customer service skills. He doesn't know how to deal with sensitive artists. He goes giving people anxiety attacks. Like, I was so bad. You know what? Honestly, the emotional trauma that this Colton guy inflicted on me, he should be looking at a lawsuit because he was rude. He damaged me mentally, emotionally, and physically, and he threatened me in a manner of business which is outside of his control because he's not the boss. Shouldn't it be the boss's decision? And you know what? Notice this. I've never had any other problems with other TuneCore agents, if they are real, if they're not AI or robotic, which, being honest, it would be impossible to tell. When I called him out on it, he laughed and made fun of it. But it's like, okay, maybe you are real. If you're real, then you're just a fucking asshole. I would rather believe you're an AI robot because then you just don't know better. But if you're a real person, then you're a completely heartless fucking asshole. You suck at your job and you shouldn't be working for TuneCore. You have no customer service skills. That's not how you talk to good, faithful, loyal clients and customers who have been giving you money since 2019 to release their stuff. You get what I'm saying? So that's why, to any fans watching this, I'm giving everybody a prize. Got love for y'all. So here's the thing. They're not going to let me release Hood Tales from the Shadow Realm. That's inevitable. Now, I don't want them to screw me over because this Colton guy's gotten drunk with power and all of a sudden thinks he's the CEO of TuneCore when I guarantee he's fucking not. I want people to go to Twitter and complain about Colton. Tell him he should be fired, that he has no customer service skills, and he incapacitated an artist out of a grudge because he didn't like getting told that his terminology was improper and he was being a fucking idiot, which he was. So please tell them that. And then once you do, once you message TuneCore to protest this and complain about this Colton guy, Colton, I'll even write it in the chat. Colton. So yeah, go to Twitter and find Tunecore's page and tell them they shouldn't hire people like him because he is harmful for sensitive artists. So yeah, that's what you do. You want to win a free album? Do that. And then after you've done that, screenshot that you message TuneCore so I know you're not pulling my leg, right? Email me the screenshot as listed here. And once I get your email, I see, okay, yeah, you protested, you helped in the good fight. Thank you, and much appreciated in advance. I will send you a free copy of Hood Tales from the Shadow Realm, the secret, never to be released album because of this fucking asshole named Colton. So, yeah, as you could tell, I'm very emotional. I'm very wound up. Sorry, I'm going to need to have a cigarette now because, yeah, even talking about this is emotionally draining. Where the hell did my lighter go? Oh, there it is. All right. Okay. So, yeah. And then there's a few other things I need to talk about. Just since I'm here getting this all, I hope y'all don't mind. I'm just venting, getting this off my chest. So, I'm sure people remember the preview I did. The preview I did of a song called Carrie Ann, which is about a lady named Carrie Ann. I used to have a crush on her back in high school, but she was really, I'll put it this way. Let me just show the conversation so you can understand why I would be so upset. Because I feel like people nowadays just lack a sense of honor and respect and decency. Like, it's very sad, but I really do believe that because, okay, that's the last time she talked to me. So I explained, like, hey, I always liked you and I made this song for you back in high school, right? I did. And then I said, even like re-talking to you again, it inspired another song, which became Carrie Ann, right? Reddit didn't say fucking shit to either song, acted like she didn't even remember me when, you know what? She was in my house. See, this room we're in now. If you walk down the hall to the room at the end of the hall, right at the end, that used to be my bedroom. She was in that room with two of her friends of her, and she laughed and made fun of me. She doesn't remember that, doesn't remember me at all, but I remember it. And you know what? I let it go at the time because I had a crush on her. I just kind of thought, oh, maybe she's just playfully teasing me until she ghosted me after that. I've seen her around. I wanted to say hi to her, but she just wouldn't say anything. And then like a week or so ago, she finally messaged me after years, not knowing who I am, saying all this. I tried to explain to her, yeah, I met you through Jason DeSilva. You came to my house. You were wearing a green dress. I made you a song, and then you started dating somebody else. But she said her ex hacked her like Facebook. So I said, I'm sorry to hear that. I was trying to be genuine and nice and sympathetic, right? Sucks when people do that shit. Even if she was a bitch to me, I do feel bad about that. That still is very terrible, right? So, and then I explained to her, I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry you don't remember me, but yeah, I met you through Jason. You were in my house and I liked you. I made this song. And then even the fact that she messaged me, I kind of took it as a good sign. Oh, synchronicities. I finally get to reconnect with somebody I always liked, right? So I made Carrie Ann. What does she do? Reads the messages and doesn't say shit. I actually said, like, okay, fine. You don't want to talk to me. In fact, I will read the last message because you know what? To just read it and not respond really hurt my feelings. So I said, I am sorry if I bothered you or annoyed you. I always get nervous for people I like. COVID made it more difficult, as you can imagine, and seeing how most people are out for themselves, I can understand why it's hard to trust people nowadays. But everything was straight from the heart. Hope you forgive my intrusion and understand where I'm coming from. It's honestly been hard to sleep at night since I sent the song, but I am sorry if I bothered you once again. Better late than never, I figured. Anyways, good night, beautiful Carrie Ann. Stay strong and don't let anyone treat you less than you deserve, because you'll always be a queen in my eyes. Now, to say something that nice and sweet and genuine and from the heart, you know what normal, decent people would say? They don't have to say much. You know what they would say? At the very least, if they had any shred of decency in them, thank you. That's very nice. Thank you for the kind words. It's very sweet. Be a decent human being. Is that so hard? Have we as human beings, because of COVID, because of this Canadian materialistic society we live in, have we become so cold emotionally that we can't even thank somebody when they're genuinely being nice to us? What's wrong with this picture? It's our society. But as you could tell, that pissed me off too. I had to deal with that on top of this Colton guy yesterday. So, as you can imagine, this has been a very stressful couple of days for me. I mean, Carrie Ann didn't get appreciated. It's kind of funny because from the sounds of it, it sounds like my fans actually liked the song more than she did, because she didn't say shit about it. Didn't fucking respond at all. She was just kind of rude and saying one word responses and kept insisting that she didn't remember me. Oh, maybe you just want to pretend like you don't remember me because you were fucking a mean bitch to me right in my own room. How about that? How about I let that go because I'm a decent guy? And you know what? At first, I felt bad for her ex hacking her account. No wonder he did it though. If that's his woman, if that's how his woman acts towards him, I don't fault him. Why wouldn't he do it? Why would you let a bitch treat you like that? Why would you let somebody that you're genuinely good for put you down like that and act like you don't mean nothing? Have some self respect. Have some pride, man. Stand up for yourself, right? So, you know what? I don't fault him. I did. I did think that was a little cold, a little mean. But you know what? Seeing what she's like, I get it. I get why he did it. Why wouldn't he do it? Why wouldn't he want to do it? If that's what she's like, she's asking for people to do that kind of shit to her, because there's a thing called being a decent fucking human being, which means that when you're nice to somebody, you're nice to them back and you say thank you. How have human beings forgot such a simple concept? Baffles me. So yeah, getting back to the main subject of this video, and we're almost at the half an hour mark, which is where I will conclude it. Like I said, just go to Twitter, find Tunecore's page, tell them they shouldn't hire people like Colton because he is harmful for sensitive artists and he lacks any customer service skills. Then email me the picture showing you did, and I will give you all a free copy of Hood Tales from the Shadow Realm, the secret never to be released Super Kami Guru Alucard album. And let me just say, I don't think it's the greatest album, but I do think it is actually a pretty cool, neat, unique little album. I do actually think that, especially because this album can't be professionally released now, this one day might be the most valuable album because it'll be the most rare of all my professionally recorded studio albums. So, yeah, you guys want a copy? You want a free copy? Go protest to Twitter about Colton and email me the results. Once you do that, I'll be sure to send you a copy of Hood Tales from the Shadow Realm, and I guarantee you'll love it. And like I said, feel excited because now you have an album that many people will never hear. they'll never see the light of day because of this Colton guy. So fight against Colton and you'll get a reward for it. Seems like a pretty good deal to me, right? Anyways, that's it. Till next time, Super Kami Guru Alucard, peace out, and stay tuned for Monday when we will come back for another Stephen King review. Peace out.